Imagine Cameron being attacked by Jim Jones's son, who has always been the calm figurehead, because to a shocking recording that is upending Harlem, a recording of a private moment with his mother. Chrissy was recently made public online, and this isn't your typical leak. Instead, we're discussing a scandal so personal and profound that it's shattering all we believed. Recognize this hip-hop dynasty, but what actually transpired between the two erstwhile friends, Camron and Jim Jones? Was this attack an accidental outburst or a planned act of? What's truly on this recording that sends shockwaves across the streets is retaliation. We have the delicious inside information and the terrifying truth that nobody is prepared for. About a family dispute, royalties being cut off, secrets being exposed, and careers being destroyed. Stay tuned because, trust me, you don't want to miss this. The truth is going to be revealed. Don't even think about clicking away. It's going to blow up. We're all used to the drama of hip-hop feuds, backstabbing, hidden beefs, and ongoing social media arguments. Describe society, but what's happening between Jim Jones Cameron and Christy Lamon is a full-fledged family scandal rather than just another rap feud. Jim Jones, the Dipset icon, is "The Streets Were Alive" with every single, and his rise to the top was nothing short of spectacular. He was about to uncover things that no one had ever imagined would surface in the industry for almost 20 years. Of mythology, but beneath all the glistening gems and popular songs, the rapper has always maintained a tight relationship with his family, especially with his longtime partner, Chrissy. They have been. Since Camron, on the other hand, is no stranger to controversy, we assumed that their personification of ride or die would demonstrate their unwavering bond with the public. The success of the duo was largely due to the bond between Dipe and Jim Jones, who were like brothers both on and off the mic. However, what happens when the boundaries between business? When the real problems that no one anticipates start to show themselves, relationships in family become hazy, and the results might be disastrous. This is what happened when a tape, yes, you read it, was played. You must understand that this isn't simply your typical situation, because a leaked video of Chrissy broke the peaceful facade they had painstakingly built over the years. Tate Personal and Jim Jones's son, who is normally quiet and avoids the spotlight, just exploded. Now rumors are circulating, allegations are being made, and the rift between these two. The number of close brothers is growing daily. But why is a small leak of a personal moment creating such a commotion? Let's start with the leak video that has been the subject of much discussion. Nevertheless, no one has actually claimed that the recording, which we have enough of from anonymous sources, depicts a private meeting between Christy and someone she should never have trusted. Been hearing rumors of exploitation, treachery, and some hidden details about Chrissy's past that nobody ever imagined would surface, starting with Jim Jones's son, who until now he has mostly been in the background, expressing his anger. This is because the tape is not only an attack on his mother, but also on everything his family represents. Rap is one thing. However, family matters become personal, and it's clear that something has rapidly gone from 0 to 100. The true question is, however, why someone released such a very personal audio concerning. If you think that's where it ends, you're mistaken. The more we investigate this dispute, the stranger it becomes. Chrissy, and more importantly, who stands to gain from all of this chaos? Facts don't make up the reasons, and now that Camron is in the middle of it all, it's unclear why he's involved, what role he plays in the story, and what he needs to accomplish. As far as we know, the public's reaction to this massive catastrophe has been nothing. Is he just a victim of a horrible situation, or is he a key player in this entire game? Blogs and gossip websites are humming, celebrities and influencers are chirping on the streets, and even the mainstream media is picking up on the rumors. That there is more to this than just a rap feud, and it is becoming more and more like a soap drama. You might be wondering how we arrived at the leap recording of Chrissy from underground sources who are aware of exactly what is happening behind the scenes. But before we do that, let's talk about how this controversy has already affected Camron. Dragged through the mud, with social media criticizing him, his devoted followers suddenly questioning everything. And we're seeing old wounds from his past, with Jim Jones starting to show. Do friendships endure such a public disaster, or is this the final nail in the coffin of a long-stricken relationship? Let's take a moment to reflect and explore what's truly taking place behind the scenes, because trust me, this story is much more than just an elite video and a son who is angry with his father's former best friend on social media. Goes well beyond that, and as we begin to piece things together, we see how this whole situation may be a ticking time bomb. But who is controlling this? Is it an error, or someone who is playing the long game? Let's talk about the take itself. From what we've heard, this isn't your typical movie. It was planned and meant to accomplish more than just create. News, Chrissy Lampin is portrayed in a precarious situation that surpasses her wildest expectations. She has been in the spotlight for years and has always been seen as Jim's rock. But what if that image crumbles? Let's add another layer to this. Unknown sources we've spoken to claim that this leak wasn't an accident. It's been claimed that this movie wasn't even close to being discovered. Rather, it was deliberately leaked by someone who knows just how to pull the right lever. But why would anyone want to bring down Chrissy in such a conspicuous way? And what precisely is their aim is where things become even more fascinating. According to some sources, the leak involved Camron as well as Chrissy's personal life. Apparently, there is a movie about both Chrissy and Camron that has the potential to completely alter our understanding of this situation. What role did Camron play in all of this, and how profound is it to hear? According to sources, there is a fight between two people. But why is Chrissy being drawn into it in such a violent way? If you're wondering how Jim Jones' kid got involved, this is where it gets even. Jim's kid has always been quite protective of Chrissy, especially when anything could cast doubt on her reputation. We've heard that Jim's son had been discreetly fighting for his mother for years, and this recording might have been the final straw that pushed him over the edge. According to people familiar with the situation, Jim's son's rage isn't only about remember that this family's secrets have been simmering for years, and this recording may have been the spark that lit everything. Preserving his mother's reputation is about vindication, exposing what's actually going on behind closed doors in the Dipset camp for all these years. And let's not forget Cameron's history with the Jones family isn't just about a leak. The fact that Camron and Jim Jones broke up has long been known, but what really happened between them was that Camron crossed a line that he really just a bystander to all of this, or was there more to the betrayal that we missed? That is the real question that everyone is asking, and it seems like no one has an answer. Some people think that prior to the public collapse, the two men's relationship had been deteriorating for years. The true question is, what was the tipping point? What did Camron do that made Jim turn away from? Here's what we're putting together so far: the video, the public reaction, and the secret agenda. Jim's son is taking over because he knows something we don't. Motives behind all of this chaos. But just when you thought you understood how it would all work out, new information surfaces that might potentially impact everything. Now it's not just about the leak, but how does Camron fit into the larger context of this family conflict? Rumor has it that Camron has been trying to keep quiet and remove himself, yet we have seen him speak out. It might be harder than he thinks to publicly defend himself against any accusations. But what if that's just the beginning? Is there anything he's hiding from the public that would be so damaging? Fans and celebrities alike are chiming in on this topic, which is getting nasty and will only get worse from here, and that the best way to protect his reputation is to keep quiet. Everyone concerned is under increasing pressure because the public wants answers, and to be honest, won't stop until they get them. However, are we truly receiving the whole picture? Let's talk. Regarding the consequences and fallout from this entire incident, Jim Jones, Camron, Chrissy and Jin's kid are among those who will be greatly impacted. Social media has been harsh, but what are the legal repercussions for any of them? Will they be prosecuted for distributing that video? Will they have to confront their past? They worked so hard to hide it, but in the end, the whole situation is starting to fall apart in unexpected ways. There are two problems, and there are a lot of unanswered questions. Disparities in individuals who might lose everything if this situation worsens. The true worry today is not the tape, but rather the future. Where do we go from here? And will the truth come out? Ultimately be made public, or will the entire situation remain hidden behind layers of secrecy? Keep an eye out because we haven't finished yet. The tale is still being told. Of our eyes and the heartbreaking revelations are only beginning. The importance of what's happening becomes clear from the leaked video, the family strife, and the public outrage is far from. But the reality is that everyone involved has something to lose, and the ramifications aren't even yet fully apparent. Let's talk about the following phases, as this story will only become worse from. We've already discussed the emotional toll that this situation is taking on Jim Jones' son. But let's pause to think about what this entire situation means for the renowned. Jim's success as a rapper was based on his songs with larger-than-life imagery and connections to the hip-hop business. But he is currently embroiled in a dispute that could demolish his entire legacy, according to some close to Jim. He has been in the public eye for decades, and it might cost him more than just his image. Failure of business endeavors, endorsements, and other things could change his career trajectory, but let's stand back and assess the other factors. Broader picture here, as we've seen Camron keep his distance. He may suffer even more significant repercussions when Jim Jones deals with the fallout from his son's response and the leaked video. Although Camron may be keeping things quiet, there is no denying that the issue is becoming worse. There is something beneath the surface of the drama that could disclose far more than everyone is aware of. More quickly than anyone can handle, there are signs that Camron is dealing with more than simply criticism from the public. According to unverified claims, there could be financial consequences that could. The moment this problem reaches its zenith, his empire will collapse. We're discussing massive contracts, sponsorships, and business ties that might be terminated. Is it possible that Camron has? Even though Jim Jones was at the core of this problem, he has lost more than just his reputation as Chrissy, and Camron. There is a more powerful force at work here. The role of the media has been important. In a situation like this, it is clear what occurs when the media gets engaged in fanning the flames of this competition and turning it into a spectacle for the general public. That this is a media issue rather than just a celebrity conflict, and that tabloids, social media influencers, and even so-called journalists are profiting from the drama by doing everything in their power to exploit the situation by picking sides, leveling charges, and disseminating rumors and information, which further escalates the problem. What does this mean for the more people engaged, the more the media investigates, and the more exposure this receives, the more likely it is that further shocking findings will be made. We've heard stories of what occurs when you have a camera pointed at every aspect of your life, and when individuals felt they had had enough, new leaks are revealed. Whispers about potential legal action, but there's a very real danger that we might witness criminal drama in the future. What if Jim Jones, Camron, or Chrissy decide to file a lawsuit? Action against the offending party, the legal ramifications could increase, resulting in years of litigation, public scrutiny, and possibly even criminal prosecution in unforeseen ways, whoever was responsible for the tape's leak. But the issue of treachery doesn't stop there. Was the leak brought on by a family member, or was it orchestrated by an outside party who merely wished to make sure that someone in Jim's group gained access to vital information, while their motivations are still unknown? Betrayed him, or is this just another intentional attempt to discredit one of the biggest names in hip-hop? As we dig deeper, insiders have added their thoughts on the subject, which Jim Jones' son has already stated. His stance is straightforward, but what about Chrissy? She hasn't said anything, but you can tell she's watching carefully. And if she does, the drama will only become worse before Camron will the response, or will he remain silent in the hopes of the storm? The tension is palpable as time goes by, and everyone is tense, wondering what will happen next. Is this the end of Jim Jones and Camron's relationship? Long-term dispute, or is it just the beginning of a bigger one that might change the dynamics of the entire industry? Let's face it, no one anticipated what started as a small-scale dispute between two hip-hop. Real people are at the center of all this chaos, with families, careers, and reputations on the line. Celebrities have become a full-fledged media frenzy. We like a good controversy, but we have to keep in mind that when things go wrong, there is a cost. What will happen to Jim, Cam, Chrissy, and the entire crew next? Is this the beginning, or will they figure out a way to gather the fragments of their shattered relationships? Will they ever be able to repair the damage this scandal has caused? Or is it too late to salvage what remains of their public persona? Time is running out. And as for us, we'll be here to update you on every breathtaking turn that comes up. So stay tuned, since this story isn't told in a long shot. So what do you think about this tense situation? Does Jim Jones' kid have every right to target Camron? Or is this just more family drama? What will happen next for these hip-hop titans? In the end, the truth is that we are only scratching the surface of this dispute. There is still a great deal to learn about who they are, and whether they will be able to preserve their legacy. Who knows what riddles may be solved next? What if more important information is disclosed in the coming weeks? Trust us, you won't want to miss it, so do us a favor. Please view this video if you think this article is just getting started. Leave a comment below and inform us your opinions regarding who is at fault. What do you think about this? Hiding something like this? If not, motion should be due. Already hit the subscribe button and activate the alert ring to make sure you always get to enjoy the freshest and most striking updates. We have more unsettling content approaching you, and we assure you that you won't want to miss it. Keep checking back, and we'll see you in the following one.